Hey, I'm Tanner. You remember the Red Dead games where it's about Arthur Morgan and John Marston trying to sort of escape the gangs that they were in? Forget about all of that. This is nothing about that. Welcome to Red Dead Revolver. This game came out in 2004 when I was just 2 years old on the PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox. Don't you feel old?
You're not really fun.
Because I do. You play as Red, starting out as a young boy living on his mom and dad's farm. After coming back from a work trip, his dad is very responsible and hands what I'm going to assume is a 12-year-old boy a gun because he got a new one.
But for now, why don't you take my old pistol?
You go test your new gun on a bunch of bottles, pots, and pans. This is the game's tutorial teaching you how to aim, shoot, and since this game is old and weird, you use the bumpers and not the triggers to shoot. Either way, it got you used to shooting and aiming, movement, all that. Suddenly, your farm is raided. Help your dad fend off from the raiders. Sadly, your family is killed, so you grab the gun that's in the fire and shoot off the arm of the leader of the raid party. I'm no expert in guns, but I'm pretty sure everything back then was chambered in .22, which cannot shoot someone's arm off. You know what? Whatever. This man is important later. It's several years later, and Red is an adult. You learn how to use Deadeye and save the shopkeeper. He lets you know you can turn these bodies in for a bounty. So you commandeer his cart and travel to the nearest town.
I'll be taking your cart.
Shut your fucking mouth! Shut the fuck up!
This town is called Widow's Patch, and upon arrival, you discover that this town was raided and overrun with bandits.
Yeah, me too, Red.
And the sheriff, or marshal, I don't know the difference between either one of them, is wounded. Clear out the town and learn how to duel. You see, I never understood dueling. I thought you had to flick the analog stick as fast as you could to have more time to shoot, but I got it completely wrong. Anyway, the sheriff/marshal needs real medical attention, so you need to take him to the next town over, Brimstone. You take a train, and I enjoyed annoying the passengers.
Mister, you could really use a hot bath and some fresh clothes.
Call me Stanky?
You're not really fun.
Eventually, a man stands and tries to hold up everyone in the train car. As you stand up and are about to duel him, you see him quaking in his baby seal leather boots.
Oh, you're terrified. Red notices, quivering in your baby seal leather boots.
You win the duel, and on top of the trains, you fight off more bandits that are on horseback. I struggled when it came to jumping over and ducking under obstacles because this is a PS2 game that came out over 20 years ago. I'm old. I accidentally fell off the train once and had this funny little cutscene.
It's a long, long walk to Brimstone.
Anyway, defend the conductor and arrive at Brimstone. I then explored the town a little bit and then went to the sheriff and he explained bounties. Bounties are this game's missions in a way. This first mission gave me the biggest amount of PTSD I've ever received in my entire life. But before getting into my trauma, you free this snazzily dressed British man named Jack Swift. Ah, very British. With a name like Jack Swift, it makes sense that he would dual-wield pistols, so obviously he was my favorite when I was younger. After fighting some of these little clown boys, you get to fight my sleep paralysis demon. I remember his intro as if it were my parents' death. Yes, it is that ingrained into my mind after going through this level over and over again. But then again, so is that part in the first mission where Red goes, Anyway, getting chased by this guy was like a horror game. You just knew he was behind you, and as soon as he got close to you... No! Anyway, kill him, and then you do the next mission as Jack. Jack walks into a town, and no, I don't remember why, and finds a woman tied up to a post. While trying to cut her down, he finds a familiar face. To him, not to us. I have no idea who the fuck this guy is. He's a bit of a wizard. He just teleports around the town, and that's kind of the whole boss fight. Oh, by the way, Red is the only one with Deadeye, so when you use the Deadeye button with Jack, you just shoot all the bullets in your guns. Anyway, free the girl, and she tells you about a $5,000 prize for a Battle Royale. Wow, this game did it before everyone else. Back to Red. His next bounty is this woman, who has a higher body count than anyone you've ever seen. Kill-wise, I don't know what you're thinking, you disgusting pig. This mission, you just kind of kill everyone in your way and then kill her. Red is a little bit of a hungry money slut, so he takes another bounty, this time from Mr. Black.
He's a strange one.
I remember this mission from way back when I was in kindergarten, so maybe it's not as bad like I thought with Pig Josh. Right? This place is a classic ghost town, just fight your way through. Get to the cemetery or graveyard or whatever you want to call it. This is Mr. Black. Why does he have a coffin on his back? Is that a Gatling gun? No, this isn't a minigun. The difference between a mini and a Gatling gun is a Gatling is hand cranked while a minigun is automatic.
Fucking nerd!
Shut up! Anyway, kill him and he falls into the coffin, casket, whatever. Where's the Gatling gun? Go back to town and talk to the sheriff about your money, but he tells you to go to the bank manager since he doesn't have any. Head over and meet Annie What's-Her-Nuts. I don't remember her last name. She is pissed that the governor is bribing her farmhands to leave, so she is forced to sell the land. And she's begging to the manager to give her another week to scrounge up the money she needs.
But I don't have any money. Perhaps there's something else you want?
39 buried.
I'm sorry, what?
0 found.
The bank manager essentially tells her to fuck off, and she gets pissed and yells at him about the gold at Bear Mountain. As she storms off, she bumps into Red and keeps going on her way. The bank manager says there's a problem with the transportation of the money, so he doesn't have any for Red. He also refuses to disclose any information about Bear Mountain. Noted there a little bit, but we'll keep it in. Red, pissed, forces the bank teller to tell him where Annie lives. And by the time he gets back, he better have his gold. Now he gets to play as Annie. As she heads back home, she finds that her barn has been set ablaze. The governor hired goons to torch her barn and kill her livestock. Free the animals because this game is PETA approved, and kill the invaders. Annie's Deadeye ability is essentially shooting an explosive round. After killing the rest of the invaders and boss, Red swaggerly walks up to the farm and asks Annie about the gold at Bear Mountain. She tells him that she only heard about it from some drunks at a bar. With this newly acquired information, he hands Annie a piece of paper about the $5,000 reward at the Battle Royale. That's so she can afford to pay off her debt, mortgage, whatever the fuck it is.
This'll help me keep my range.
You get to the saloon and you overhear some drunks talking about Bear Mountain just as Annie predicted. But they also bring up another character, the one-armed man. The tutorial, remember when I told you that Red shot someone's arm off? Sound familiar? Yep, that's him. He replaced his arm with a cannon. After Red inquires about the one-armed man, they essentially tell him who? Asked, and start a bar fight.
Let's get it on.
After killing the first few enemies defending the women inside, you go to the cellar and fight the rest of the gang. Kill this character named Sam, and then the sheriff comes and arrests you for disturbing the peace. Brother, I have like 20 charges of murder in this town alone. You ask the sheriff about the one-armed man and explain that he's the one that killed your family. The sheriff actually knows about you and explains that everything happened because of something that the American cavalry did south of the border. Play as General Diego, who is apparently an important character, I don't see how, and you're holding off the American military. At some points he talks to a sergeant. That sergeant is a familiar face. Do you see it? That sergeant is the one who killed your family. General Diego almost kills Red's dad where he stands, but he offers the general gold, which leads to Red's dad dying. The sheriff lets Red out of his cell and says, hey, if you can get the wagon that has the gold that's supposed to be here, I'll get rid of all the charges. Of course, Red obliges. After clearing out the camp and destroying the wagon, you get knocked out by the sergeant and he takes you to Bear Mountain to be a prisoner. An Indian witnesses that kidnapping and recognizes Red. You see, Red's mother was actually an Indian, while his father was an American. You play as Shadow Wolf and infiltrate your way into Bear Mountain and break out Red. Now you need to escape the mine as Red. They took away all your weapons, so in order to get any, you need to kill the guards. Shadow Wolf calls Red Cousin Red, which means yes, they are related. His mother was part of that tribe.
Cousin Red? Shadow Wolf?
When Shadow Wolf released Red, he also released a Buffalo Soldier. Yes, that's his name. Red and Shadow Wolf told him to go warn the governor about everything that's happening. While hitchhiking, the only cart you manage to get is one that's filled with TNT, cause that makes sense. You escape the Spanish military trying to kill you and inform the governor about what's happening, but he's very aware because he's working with them for, of course, money.
I'm here for money. Money!
Back to Red and Shadow Wolf. On your way back, you were suppressed by a Gatling gun, remember the difference. I got lost on this mission and even restarted a few times. I even walked by the way you're supposed to go without realizing. In my head I thought, they forgot to patch that out of the game. Anyway, what am I supposed to do? But no, I was supposed to jump down this hole and then work my way around the area. The sergeant reveals himself with his cannon arm and absolutely gats Shadow Wolf. You pass him away with a standard revolver or rifle and decide that's not enough. You want the general. He is in a heavily armored train. This part I was also stuck. I thought there was an invisible man that just wasn't spawning and I needed to kill, but I was wrong. I thought maybe I needed to shoot this lever on horseback and that would unlock the rest of the mission. Nope. Turns out I needed to get on the train, hop on top of this cart, and then shoot that lever twice. I needed to then hop back on the horse and oh, the guy on the Gatling gun finally spawned. After detaching a few more carts, it's finally a showdown between Red and Diego. Kinda. Kill him and it's time for the Battle Royale the game's been hyping up the whole time. Jack Swift, Annie What's-Her-Nuts, Red, and a fan favorite named Mr. Kelly. There's a ton of others, but they aren't worth mentioning or naming apparently, so they don't matter. Mr. Kelly is a famous gunslinger who plans on winning the whole thing. First few were easy for me, and I understand how Jack took out his opponents, but how the fuck did Annie get that far with a rifle? When the sheriff is about to announce Red and Kelly's fight, he is silenced like the kid in the Minion costume during a school play or something. Governor's men don't kill him, which is their first mistake, but he takes over the competition and says that the rest are disqualified and this is the last fight. So Jack and Annie don't get— wait, Jack and Annie? Like the magic tree? Jack and it? No. Red and Kelly are the final fight.
The NPCs. Oh.
It was at this point I finally understood I was doing the duels wrong, because no matter how fast I flicked that analog stick, I was always losing. Apparently it was about timing, and even if you were a little slower, he would just aim like this for a few seconds. But finally I beat Kelly, but I didn't kill him.
Win!
The governor lets Kelly get up
How are you okay?
and threatens Red, but while he's threatening Red, he's holding up a gun. A very specific gun.
Isn't she a beaut?
Yeah, can I hold it?
She's one of a pair, only two in the whole world.
Where's the other one? The other one, the other one.
He's holding the pistol that was your dad's. You kill Kelly, and for good this time.
I win.
So now it's time for Red, Jack, and Annie to raid the governor's mansion. You clear house and free the Buffalo Soldier.
Ready to do some fun?
Hey, he's alive.
I die a lot at these parts just because I'm bad. This small gate is somehow keeping you from the governor, so the Buffalo Soldier blows it up and you get in. Once you get the governor to half HP, you have to go into a duel with him. Yes, I was still doing duels wrong at this point, I guess. I failed many more times, and when you do, you have to restart the whole fighting the governor thing. After failing more and more, I finally killed the governor.
Fuck. Oh, I got it! Oh my god.
When I get down, the sheriff explains that, as good of a thing as I did, he was still a governor. The law was going to be on Red the rest of his life. The sheriff tries giving Red the $5,000 prize pool from the Battle Royale, but Red says that he doesn't need it, after all.
Jack's supposed to be there.
The money.
And that's about it. I know this game wasn't super popular and people don't really know about it, especially nowadays when it's a 20-year-old game. I played this all the time with my dad when I was little and in kindergarten. Yes, I was about 5 years old when I played this game. Having the memories flow back to me as I was going through the levels saying, oh, I remember this. Oh, this used to be so hard. Especially with Pig Josh. The game is really important to me and I want to thank you all for letting me share it with you. Anyway, well, very much for— join me next time when I still have no idea what the fuck I'm gonna do. This town is called Widow's Patch and, oh shit. You see, I never understood dueling. I thought you had to flick the analog stick as fast as you could, and so this first fuck. With a name like that, it makes sense that he'll dual wield. Oh shit. My gain was up too high. Oh, maybe that's up too high. I don't know. This place is a classic. Get to the cemetery or graveyard, whatever you want to call it, and find Mr. Goal? Really? Black. No, this isn't a minigun, this is a Gatling gun. Difference being, a minigun is automatic while fuck. The bank manager says that there's a problem with the— that's— so— Annie's Red Dead ability is essentially— it was at this point after failing more and more, I finally killed the general— or no. After fuck. The sheriff tries giving Red the $5,000 prize from the Battle Royale, but Jack says— fuck, I said Jack.